It was good, y'all. Fusion, Vegas, Smurfy. We're back. We got
What
Witty
up?
here also. Bro, why you say that? Boom, what up?
Just keep going.
Anyway, they're talking about some more football nonsense. No, I'm just kidding. Y'all talking about the AFC?
Yeah, we're talking about the AFC East and basically ranking the teams.
So they're gonna be ranking teams, and y'all go ahead and get started. Well,
All right.
I like to make a formal request. I want to start this one off. Because mine's gonna be the hot takes, so I want to get this one out the way. Y'all
these
can
weak
counter it,
ass
'cause
takes.
I know for a
No, I'm
fact.
just kidding.
Hey, you better shut your mouth.
Nigga, fuck you.
You fucking
Wait.
maintain and head us out of here.
Friendly channel.
Right?
Friendly to who?
Demonetized.
How are we gonna be demonetized when we not even monetized yet?
It's all correct, true. Anyway, while we got off subject here, due to a rude interruption by our moderator, kind of crazy. Anyway, so I like to start the rankings off. So I will say I am a little bit higher on one team than others are, and it's kind of surprising. I'm not really a big fan of this team usually, but honestly, F it. So I think they have I like the roster kind of here. Quarterback is a little issuey, but so for my rankings for the NFC, AFC East, I do have for right now. I'm going to put the Jets at number one because I don't want to. I don't want to. Okay. I don't want to. I will say they had one of the higher bust potentials. I think them and the Bills have high bust potential, but I can't argue the Jets have a great defensive. I love their coach, Robert Saleh. He's a very competent coach, especially defensively. He's amazing defensively. I love where any place he's been successful at. So I just don't see him not being successful as a coach for the Jets when you have that defense like Quinton Williams, Quincy Avery. I think you have Sauce Gardner, DJ Reader, and then you have two. I forget the safeties, but y'all might remember them. But like their whole defense is solid through and through, and their line is deep as well. Because you have Will McDonald as well. I was really high on. He's flashing preseason. But offensively, I mean, the O-line's the only thing I have question marks on. But overall, you have Aaron Rodgers, you have Zach Wilson, should be considered a pretty high-end backup. I would say he didn't have a great year last year, but it's still, I would say, just based off talent, he could be a high-end backup. But it's the bread and butter is their weapons. They have so many receivers on that roster, led by what's his name? Oh my God, Garrett Wilson. And then you have also I'm a big fan of them bringing Alan Lazard there, and those would be easy pieces for Aaron Rodgers to use alone. And then you have when he comes back from injury, you'll have Brees Hall, and then you have Michael Carter II, and you have Dalvin Cook. I mean, that running back core alone will help the pass game no matter what weapons they have. So I just have to leave them there. Their default number one, but I will say they have a high bust potential, and that's the same reason for my number. Well, I can kind of interchange these two teams because I think they'll be kind of the same. But I'll probably put the Dolphins second, but I have them second only hinging on health for Tua, because if Tua's not healthy, this team is going to be fourth. It's going to be fourth because I think their defense is good. It's just not like high and crazy, because I mean, especially Jalen Ramsey getting hurt really hurts them there. I think they'll still be really solid on defense because you have Greg Rousseau, you have Jalen Phillips, and you have Bradley Chubb. So ultimately, that defense should be good, but Chubb has missed a lot of time in his career, so you're on him being healthy too. On top of that, the offense was great last year. It was fantastic when he had like 2 concussions last year. So it's like, when do they probably look to move on from him because of that? I think he's talented, but the health mark is a big question mark. He did beef up though over the offseason. So I do have him at 2 right now because I do think they should have potential to essentially fulfill kind of meet what the standard is for the Dolphins right now with their weapons, like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I'm gonna put, honestly, this is gonna be the hot take, and very bad take probably in most people's eyes, but I'm going to put the Patriots at number 3, and I'm putting them at 3 because I know, okay.
And they think
Bring
my
on the-
hot take
bring
was
on-
bad.
bring
With
on
the
the hot-
Giants.
Okay, bring on the hate comments. I don't care. Here's why. I think I'm not a big Mac Jones guy, but I'm a big Bailey Zappi guy. But besides the point, I think they are in a position they don't have to do much. No matter who's starting, they're in a position not to have to do much. That defense should be better than it was last year, which was really solid last year. I don't think their corners are as great as they've been in the past, but they need them to kind of step back up. It was like Jack Jones and I forget the other corner's name. Jalen Mills is the safety, but then there's like a corner, the opposite
Oh,
corner.
he's a safety. That's right.
Yeah, but Jalen Mills is fantastic. He had a really good preseason, but I think overall that defense should be solid. It's not like they're not like big name defense. 'Cause I can't even remember some of them right now, top of my head. But they've never not been a good defense. At least a top 15 defense. I think they'll probably be, which I think is enough. On top of that, I like the offensive line, and I do like the weapons that they have added finally for Mac Jones and Josh Bailey Zappi, whoever starts, because they're sleeping on the fact that Kendrick Bourne, to me, is such an underrated receiver. He doesn't score a lot for some reason. It's really weird. It's really funny, but he is a fantastic receiver, and people don't give him enough credit. And you have Devontae Parker, who was a receiver one for a time. I don't think he's that level, but I think he is a great receiver and potentially a low end one. Both of them are kind of like low end ones, maybe high end twos. But then the bread and butter to me is the potential with Tyquan Thornton, Demario Douglas, I think is how you pronounce it, who they took this draft, and also Kayshon Boutte, who had his first touchdown already in the season yesterday. On top of that, he was projected to be a first round pick. So you have some serious firepower potential in their receiving core. I mean, obviously, it's hinging on a lot of factors of them meeting that potential. But I mean, ultimately, they're showing great in training camp. Kayshon had a great game yesterday, and they're all showing flashes. So that's kind of what we need, what they need. And then you also have Ramondre Stevenson, and then you have Zeke. So their running game should be really solid as a whole right there. And Ramondre was great last year. I don't see why they wouldn't be great this year. So as long as they can set the run and maybe lean on the run mostly, and then just couple it with really talented pass catchers, the quarterback doesn't really matter to me in that opinion. Because like if they can just be average with a top 15 defense and those weapons, they can win games. I think this division could be winnable, or it could be just. But the only issue I would say that for them is that the AFC is just loaded. So I think ultimately it's probably just going to be one or maybe two teams from this division should make it. But I mean, like the AFC is so loaded on this side, it could be anybody right now, especially in like the AFC North, AFC West. I'm putting the Bills at 5. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but I will say they have looked, even though it was preseason, they did have their first team offense that did not look good in its showing in 3 drives, which to me is a concern. If not one of those 3 was good, if one of those 3 drives were good, I'd be like, okay, we're cool, but none of them were. So there's my concern. I think they have a lot of pressure to succeed this year, and then you have Stephon Diggs, who almost left because I feel like he was getting the targets he deserves, which I agree, because they're kind of giving it to other people that like aren't really like on that level. Like Gabe Davis is kind of iffy here and there. He's really good in some games he just disappears. Their running situation is just a big flip in the air because they haven't been able to do anything running the ball really. And then their tight ends, I mean, I like Dawson Knox and I like Dalton Kincaid, but we haven't seen a lot from Dawson Knox, and then Kincaid's kind of we don't know yet until we start playing. And then their secondary, I love Tre'Davious White. I think if they are going to be good, that defense needs to stay consistent. If they can continue what they did last year, they should be fine. But because of the question marks on the offense for me, I feel like you can have a good defense, but because of how loaded the offenses are, I think in this division, being okay or solid is not good enough. And in these ones, I think again, I'll say with Patriots, they'll have a top 15. I think the Bills should have roughly around there, but I just don't think the offense can keep up with some of these other offenses with the weapons that they have versus what they have offensively. It's like, to me, their weapons on all 3 other teams than what they have on the Bills. That's a hot take, I know, but I think I see more potential with the Patriots offensive weapons than the Bills.
All right, interesting. I'm gonna counter one of your points.
I heard a lot of nonsense, a lot of junk. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I have to counter one of your points on the Bills. Now I'll say this: the Bills, look, the Bills were not the same when Von Miller went down last year. When they had Von Miller, that team looked unstoppable because they could get after. They were rushing. They were getting back to the quarterback like it was nothing. I think they sacked Matthew Stafford like 6 times that opening night last year with Von. So, but for my list, I'm gonna put the Patriots at 4, and I'm gonna tell you why. Bill Belichick, and that's why. This clown decided to screw Mac Jones over last year by having a defensive coordinator instead of an offensive coordinator trying to call his plays. And you saw how that crap show went last year with them busted receivers they have too. Another thing he did, he overpaid Juju. I don't get why he did that. You could have just overpaid, or you could have just overpaid Jacoby Myers and got the same production, honestly, because that's probably what you're going to get out of Juju in this offense. But we'll see. The defense, I don't know, man. That defense been looking suck. Jameis Winston put up some numbers against that defense last year, so I don't know. I don't know. Three. I'm going to have to put. I'm gonna have to put the Dolphins at 3, and I'm gonna tell you why. I think what was it? Mike McDaniel's had the luxury of teams not really being able to scheme up against him well, but they have a whole year now to see what he does. Cause they didn't address the running game this off season. They still weren't able to get Dalvin Cook. They haven't upgraded the backfield. Tua, my biggest problem with Tua isn't even his health. He had a lot of underthrown passes last year. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were bailing him out a lot last year, a lot. And I think if teams figure out how to at least tee off on him or get a little pressure on him early and do some type of shell coverage, because what makes it tricky is everybody on the Dolphins runs like a 4-4, because even the third string receivers are fast, are the slot ones. So it just makes it kind of hard to cover. But once teams figure that out, I think they're going to start getting exposed. Unless they figure out that running game situation. Another thing, I'm gonna have the Bills at 2, because I still believe they're the second best team in the division. Even with Von Miller coming back. I'm not too hyped on that run game, because I don't think they really addressed it. And I thought they did bad with the draft. I don't get paying Dawson Knox and then turning around a couple of years later and using your high draft pick on a tight end. Maybe should have traded back to probably add some more depth along that defensive line, or maybe in the maybe some more depth with the backers, or maybe trying to add another running back, because James Cook don't look like he is. I know he's Dalvin Cook's brother, but I don't know. They just didn't get much from him last year. And then number 1, I'm going with the Jets. I think the biggest problem plaguing them last year was just awful quarterback play.
Breathing in the mic.
Awful quarterback play. Zach Wilson just.
You already know who it is, too.
We're winning. Zach Wilson was playing like trash and wouldn't even own up to it. On top of that, yeah, man, he had to go. At least sit his behind on the bench and learn how to be a leader. But yeah, that's my list. I got the Jets 1, Bills 2, Dolphins 3, and Patriots 4.
Okay. I don't know what you guys see in the Jets for them to be, but for both of y'all to rank the Jets number 1 in this division. I don't care how good your defense is. This is a offensive-driven league. So and we have not seen anything from the Jets, even with Aaron Rodgers, for them to be ranked number 1, for them to automatically have a good offense, even with Aaron Rodgers. So I think, my list, I'm actually putting the Dolphins at number 1, just because we already know who the Dolphins are from last year. They are an offensive-driven team who has probably the best wide receiver duo in the league with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. And teams knew this the entire time during that entire season of last year. And the only reason the Dolphins got kicked out, or they were basically a given loss when they got into playoffs, is because Tua went down. If Tua doesn't get hurt, the Dolphins have a legit chance to win that division and win multiple games in the playoffs. So I'm putting the Dolphins at number 1, because I still don't believe teams don't know how to play against them, because you can't counter speed. And until teams figure out how to deal with Tyreek Hill or their wide receiver duo, even if Tua has a weaker arm, he doesn't really need his arm is not really the issue if their wide receivers continuously get open. So I'm putting the Dolphins number 1 just because of that. And then at number 2, I'm still putting the Buffalo Bills, even though I'm still down on the Bills this year. I still think that they still have a decent team with Josh Allen. So when I said that my hot take was that the Buffalo Bills will be down this year, I still think that they will not win this season, or not this season, but this division, because they still have problems on offense and them having like a decent cohesion, and there's still a lot of pressure on the Bills for them to at least get in the playoffs. So I still think the Bills will get in the playoffs. So at 3, I'm putting the Jets at 3, just because it's like I have nothing to go off of. Like, there's nothing for me to go off of for me to put the Jets at number 1 or number 2, for them to think that if I were to place the Jets in the like if the Bills and the Dolphins were to go in a game with the Jets, that the Jets would easily beat them. They might beat them a game or 2, or like at least 1 game, but I don't trust the Jets. I don't trust Aaron Rodgers just for them to automatically claim this division. I don't. So, and then Patriots, the Patriots, there's nothing exciting about the Patriots. Mac Jones is complaining over there. He has no weapons over there. And Bill Belichick is just sabotaging his team. So automatically, I'm putting Patriots in number 4. But again, this whole division is like flip floppy. So there's a lot of times where teams that are supposed to win, win, and when teams are supposed to lose, win, and when teams are supposed to win, actually lose. So this whole division is kind of like, is very up in the air for me, but my reasoning for why I'm ranking them, like, it makes sense to me. So I'm putting Dolphins as number 1, Bills as number 2, Jets as number 3, and then putting Patriots last. So that's my list right there. What the heck? Did everyone just disappear?
I see.
No one wants to counter my Jets take.
Yeah.
No, cause your Jets
because you're
take
wrong.
is legit. Well, legit.
I don't
opinion.
think so. I think you can project. You can project to an extent though, because here's my thing. You can technically project because, for example, so Garrett Wilson finished with just under 1,000 yards with Zach Wilson as his quarterback and inconsistent QB play. On top of that, so you can pretty much already almost edge in unless again, if injury doesn't like happen. I mean, let's just knock on wood that doesn't happen, but he's probably going to get 1,000 yards with more consistent quarterback play. The defense has not changed. If not, it's gotten healthier and better than last year. So that defense was like, I don't know what the ranking was. They were definitely top 10 though. And that was with, again, terrible quarterback
that's
play.
The one that mattered. Yeah.
So they don't need to do it. Even if Aaron Rodgers is not that good, I'm not a big Rodgers guy. He needs to just do almost the bare minimum of what we expect from Rodgers to be able to be successful there. And not to mention, Alan Lazar I think he had 1,000 yards.
No, he didn't have 1,000.
He didn't have 1,000. Sure. He's had 1,000 yards before with Aaron Rodgers. Just say he's had 1,000 yards receiving season.
Alan Lazard has not had 1,000 yet.
Not yet. Okay. Is he close? I think it's like 800 or something like that, right?
It was close. It was like 700 or 800.
Okay.
He's been close a couple of times, but
okay. Well, that's good enough for me. So that's almost 2,000 yards between 2 receivers right there. That's not including I'm forgetting another guy
and
they
got
had.
They get McCole Hardman too. They signed him.
McCole Hardman, there it is. Yeah, McCole Hardman.
Oh, wait,
yeah, another weapon they have, and then Breece Hall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And what
So I mean, you can project out. They're gonna have at least 3,000 round roughly. You can basically almost estimate that if he gets 3,000 yards, he's probably gonna get more than that. That's not including tight end play or anything like that. They're gonna be fine offensively. I mean, you had Breece Hall looked amazing when he played, so you can project by their stats that they're gonna be efficient with. He was efficient with his touches, just like even Michael Carter II was. So was Dalvin Cook was consistent. Now he may not play every game, but you have so much depth there. That's that. What the hell was that?
Well, Michael Carter's not playing because Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall about to dominate all the touches.
Okay, are they playing the whole season though? No, are they gonna play the whole season? That's the question. But even then, they're deep. That's the whole thing. They're deep.
They are deep.
And Michael Carter was solid. Was really solid when he played. When the year before Breece Hall, he was solid.
They might try to trade him though. I think
I mean,
either
either
way,
way,
they should.
I wouldn't, just because of the fact Brees Hall's coming off injury, you don't know where he's going to be at, and then you also have Dalvin Cook, who's been in and out. I think honestly having a third running back there, I honestly don't think is a crazy fall off between him and Brees Hall. I mean, you might as well just keep that piece there, and that way, bar any injury again, knock on wood.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to have that crazy drop off. Let's say if you have like Michael P. Ryan back there versus like Michael Carter.
Well, I want to make this clear that I'm not down on the Jets. I think the Jets will be good. I just need something to go off of for me to be on the Jets train, for me to put the Jets above both the Bills and the Dolphins, who, again, we already know what they're going to be doing. We already know what their offense is like. I don't know what the Jets offense is going to be like. And they're telling us now that Aaron Rodgers is supposed to start for his last preseason game. So I'm guessing the starters are going to be out there. So I think we'll get a chance to see what the Jets will be like. But for right now, there's nothing for me to go off of, because I'm just going based off of what I've seen with Zach Wilson, and I feel Zach Wilson is getting better. Like, he's trying to make less mistakes, but
he played against 2s and 3s.
You can't tell me there's like a huge difference. You can't tell me there's like a huge difference between Zach Wilson and what he's seeing out on the field on the same team, and then Aaron Rodgers, who goes out there as well. So.
Well, we'll probably see a big difference, but okay. I mean, I think
I have nothing to go off of, so that's why I have to stay with the pick that I have.
But yeah, fair. I mean, I understand your point, but my thing is, like, you look at Rodgers. Rodgers had less with the Packers, and I think he has more here with the Jets. I'm a Aaron Rodgers hater, so it's, for me, I still believe that he's gonna be at least like 3,000 to 4,000 yards on the year, probably minimum picks. I don't know what it would probably be, because they're probably going to run the ball more. Maybe maybe around 10 picks at the most, maybe. So it's just like, to me, as long as your defense is playing what it was last year, then you're making the playoffs. So that's where I'm at with as far as I see the Jets. Because I mean, you got it in a way. I understand what you're talking about, like last year's, again, what they've done versus what like projecting, but like sometimes it's just like there's so much talent, so it's kind of hard to neglect when they have like when the Bills I just don't think are as nearly as talented or even as deep in some positions.
And then I just had to go addition by subtraction. Boy, Zach Wilson was so bad he couldn't even sustain drives.
Oh yeah,
bro. If you can't, he
is bad.
Yeah, you have to sustain drives, because if you're at least keep the offense out there, move the ball. Give your team a chance, give your defense a chance, flip the field position somewhat. Zach Wilson was just going constant 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Like, come on, do something. Keep it going. But we'll see.
Yeah,
but again, I do understand your point.
Yeah, this division is flip-flop for me. So, like, anything can happen for me. Because I can't predict the Bills, because right now we have a...
2nd and 2. They'll set up the screen to Edwards-Helaire. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. Give him 15 yards on that one, and New England has a first down.
We can talk all we want about football being a game of strength and brawn. It's also a game of mismatches, and they're trying to create one there, getting it to their back out of the backfield to make a bigger play.
As we often say, get it to him in space, let him use his leg.
Yeah, if he can get a matchup against a linebacker or maybe a defensive end dropping out in a zone blitz, he's going to win that battle just about every time.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10.
Now it is very possible they don't pan out.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
One thing that you're going to see from this offense is that they love the matchup with their wide receivers against the secondary. That one wasn't successful, but don't expect them to back away from attacking all game long.
Last year, but
pass complete to Jalen Tolbert. And he's brought to the ground with another first down at the Chargers 39. 13 yards as the quick slant keeps the drive moving. So from Charger territory now, here's a 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. They'll bring a receiver in motion right.
Kind of there. It's kind of like
Back to throw again. He hits Dobbs on the crosser. And he'll be brought down at about the 23-yard line. Clock runs, less than a minute to go, and an entertaining first quarter play. 1st and 10, it's Edwards-Helaire with it. And he'll maneuver his way forward for about 4. 2nd and 6.
That call makes sense because they've been throwing it well on this drive, and once again they showed passing formation and showed a shotgun. Then they ran out of it. That was a nice play by them defensively, though, to hold it to a short game.
First carry now from the LSU line. Ty Davis-Price. 7-7, our score after 1. On 3rd down, here's Davis-Price. And they're going to lose some on this play. Being knocked back to the 18. Looking to throw.
It is very much relying on.
Fires a slam complete to Tolbert. And the Patriots are going to have 1st and goal as they try to finish off this drive with 6 points.
What an excellent end result for them. But let's go back to the decision, first of all, to go for it all on 4th down. A lot of pressure on the quarterback's shoulders, but they knew he could handle it. Makes the right read there, gets the ball to his receiver. They get the 1st down. It's now 1st and goal.
And the stop will come inside the 5 at the 4. He'll get only 2 there, and it's 2nd and goal.
That's a good job there by the corner. We do talk about this a lot, that a lot of corners see their job as simply covering receivers. Tackling isn't everyone's thing.
And he's in. Touchdown, Patriots.
Top second year, fully removed from it, or maybe 3rd year, so he should be.
After a good punt, this offense will start with tough field position inside the 10. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. With a catch made by Johnson. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard. 2nd down, here's Davis-Price. That one a 1st down pickup of 8. And the Patriots at 5-3 now on the year. They come in off the extended break from the bye.
And I think it was much needed as well because you play 2.5 months. You know you're ready for some time off in order to get prepared for the home stretch. In fact, when they looked at the schedule to start the season, I think they liked where their open week fell.
Here's a 2nd and 7. Cleaned out left to Dobbs.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Touchdown, Patriots. Romeo Dobbs.